In this episode of The Landline, we're talking to the owner of Cleveland's most awarded restaurant for the past 25 years. Laurie from Mallorca is answering our call. Let's just start from the beginning. We were kind of talking about it a little bit, that you grew up, did you grow up here?
So no, I grew up all over the place, actually.
Okay.
I grew up everywhere. It's kind of a long story. My father kidnapped us from our mother when we were young, and we had to move around. And so we moved all over the place, but ultimately ended up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for my last 2 years of high school, and I went to college in Pennsylvania, and I ended up in Cleveland because we had there was a Mallorca in Pittsburgh, and people from Cleveland would come to Pittsburgh and be like, "Why don't you open one here in Cleveland?" And so 30 years ago, that's what we did. We opened one in Cleveland, and Cleveland is the city I have been in the longest for my life, and I love it.
Wow.
Love it.
Okay, we got to go back a little bit. So you were in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. This is where you grew up most of your life then?
No, I grew up in Pittsburgh the last 2 years of my life.
The last 2 years?
Not the last 2 years of my life. The last 2 years of high school. I went to high school in Uniontown, Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh.
Awesome.
And then I went to college at Penn State. And then I, after college, moved to Texas. And I had a real estate business down there. It was like a marketing real estate business. And I lived in Texas for a long time. And then decided that I wanted to come back up to go to law school. So came back up here, got an MBA, went to Duquesne, and got the degree. And I was a mediator for a long time. So I did legal mediation.
Oh, wow.
So I'm old.
You've lived so many lives.
So I always tell people that my life is a case study in ADHD.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
This, whatever looks interesting, I jump right into it.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because I bought Mallorca for my ex-husband, who's from Spain, in 1996. So we opened early 1997. He ran the restaurant for a long time while I was still doing my own thing. And then when he and I split for a number of reasons, I took over the restaurant. And it's not really where I wanted to be. I did not want to be in the restaurant business. It was his dream. It was not my dream. And my original intention when we split was just to close the restaurant because I was like, this is not what I want to do. I have my 4 kids. I have my career. I'm not, And I came down and I met the staff, and I always get choked up when I talk about it, but the people that are there are so beautiful and have been like part of that family for so long. And really, it's not like another restaurant where you have people that come and go. These are a lot of people from Spain or Portugal or Mexico or, all over the Spanish-speaking countries. And they came here and they kind of created a family there. Mm-hmm. And so by closing the restaurant, it would have been like breaking up a family. And I just was like, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
The restaurant was like $300,000 in debt at that point. And I was like, oh my God, am I about to do this? And I was like, I felt like the universe was telling me that you have to do this, that, you're here for a reason. And so I used my background in, business and law and all that kind of stuff to settle debt. And I remember talking to a vendor one time, and we'd owed him like $85,000 or something. And I said to him, if you put a lien on us, you'll be about the 5th lien in. And the 5th lien in is probably going to get the oven door. So I can go down right now to Mallorca and I can take the oven door off and I can hand it to you. Or you can decide to give me time and make this work, because I will make it work. And I will make sure that you get paid and we'll keep going forward. And of course, at that point, I don't think they really wanted the oven door, so they opted to make it work.
That's a pretty bold thing to say.
But it is, because, and I do feel like the universe kind of said, you can do this. Like, you can do this. You have the background, you have the you know, you have the gutso or whatever to do this. And so I love it now. I love being in it now. Since I've taken, you know, we're out of debt, and as you know, we just were nominated for a James Beard, or a semi-finalist for a James Beard, which is a shocker. I feel like the universe put me here for a reason, and it's not just for Mallorca, but it's also to really help other independent restaurant owners who maybe don't have that same educational background or that same business background, and to be able to really help them to navigate the political, you know, the political landscape and what's going on with legislation that might affect your bottom line, and to really help them navigate the press and know how to get themselves in front of the right people so that they can be seen, and really know the front, the back of the house, and outside of the house, which for me, a lot of restaurants forget that outside of the house is really very important. You can have the most amazing food and the most amazing service, but if you're not outside of the house talking to people and getting people to come through the door, then you're not going to succeed. And so, you know, in that capacity, I took over as president of the Cleveland Independents, and then started working with the Restaurant Association, the National Restaurant Association, which I'm on the executive board right now for that, and really do a lot of lobbying work in DC and in Columbus to help independent restaurants.
Sounds like you have a lot of advice to give. My first,
probably more than people want. But.
Yeah, my first question is kind of taking us back to like you guys being in that debt. What advice would you give someone, maybe not even in the business industry or restaurant industry, that is looking at like a big pile of debt? Where do they start? How do they get out of that?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing is that you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in what you're doing. You really have to believe that what you're doing is the right thing. That's crucial. And then you take logistical steps that make sense. You call your debtors, because the biggest mistake people make when they're in any business or even on a personal level is they don't call the debtors. They just think it's going to go away. If you call the people you're in debt to and you say, this is where I am, this is what I can do. I want to pay this. I want to do the right thing, but right now I can't. But I'll tell you what I can do. I even did that with our landlord. I sat down and I said, look, I'm going to open my books to you, and I'm going to show you that this is where we are, and this is what I can do. Now, I'll tell you that if I tell you I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to tell you something that I can do something that I can't. And so that's really important, is that communication. I think that's important with everything, but when you're in that kind of a situation, you have to communicate with people. You have to let them know that you're aware, and don't try to ignore it, because that's when you get sued, or that's when people get mad. They feel like, well, you know, you got over on me. You got over on me, and nobody wants to feel like that. And so it's that communication, and people will work with you. They will. Other small businesses will work with you. They want you to succeed, you know? So that's my advice.
Go straight to the source.
Straight to the source.
And beg for mercy.
And beg for mercy.
So the original Mallorca, I cannot speak today, got you out of debt, got it out of debt. It was going well. People were coming from all over to get this food. Tell me about, for people who have never been there before, what are they experiencing? What kind of food is this? So
Mallorca is Spanish Portuguese food. It's all food from the Iberian Peninsula. Now, we always like to say we're steak, seafood plus Spanish, because we like to be, you know, make sure we have something for everyone. And people sometimes think Spanish food is Mexican food, and it's not. They're not even. Spain's over here, Mexico's down here. They're not even the same. Spain is predominantly fresh seafood. That's what a lot of Spanish food is. Saffron rice. Spanish people also eat a lot of pasta, and of course slow roasted meats like zebebe goat, or the short ribs, or osabuco. You know, there are things at Mallorca that one of the lost arts that I think a lot of restaurants have lost is that slow roasting of food. It seems like everybody wants to just slap a piece of meat on the grill and throw some sauce on it. And when you have a chef that just really loves the art of cooking and slow roasting, and when you walk into the kitchen at Mallorca and it's like, it's that slow roasted cooking that kind of almost like your grandma used to do. You know, you go to grandma's house, it always smelled good. You always had a drawer full of candy and slow roasted food going.
Yeah, I want to taste it before I taste it.
Yeah, exactly.
That aroma is important.
Yes, we do a lot of the slow roasted meats, a lot of slow roasted. And then, of course, beautiful seafoods. A paella, to me, is the absolute most beautiful culinary dish you can look at. I mean, you have yellow rice with the black mussels and the gray clams and the red lobster and the peas and it's just beautiful just to look at Spanish food, and the aromas of all those things mixed together, and then just to taste it, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, I can't even say, like, it's just such a unique experience.
Yeah. Were you nervous at all to bring that kind of concept to a place like Cleveland that you had never really been in?
No, I think that the fact that it was so successful already in Pittsburgh, and that Clevelanders were coming to Pittsburgh and just really hungry for that, you know, something different. It was fun, and it was fun because I love the Spanish culture. It's a beautiful culture. They really embrace the love of each other and the love of family. They party all night. They work hard all day. They take their little naps. It's a beautiful culture. And the food is so unique that I just thought, well, this is so exciting to be able to bring something new, to be the OGs, to bring, you know, this new cuisine to Cleveland. And Cleveland really just ate it up and embraced us. And I love Cleveland for that, you know, just love Cleveland.
Cleveland has a very interesting food scene to me, that whatever you have a taste for, they have it, but they have it in the most authentic way.
Absolutely.
That you're not thinking, you're like, this in Cleveland? This just makes no sense to me. You would think it'd be like an Americanized version of this food, but to hear so many authentic places around here.
It is. It's amazing to me that, you know, people will come from New York and be like, well, we're in New York, we have everything. And I'm like, you know what? We have everything here. There is not any kind of cuisine, from Ethiopian to, you know, Brazilian to Spanish to, of course, Italian, that you can't get in Cleveland. So we may not have 500 Ethiopian restaurants like maybe they have in New York, but we have that food here. We have everything here that you could want. Cuisine-wise, if you want it, you can have it, and it's amazing. And I know a lot of the owners of, you know, the independent restaurants, they put so much of their heart into that food and that restaurant. And to me, those are the places that really kind of make the personality of the city. They're what makes Cleveland Cleveland, are those places that are independent and unique, and, you know, they pour their heart into their restaurants.
For sure. And you guys are located downtown.
Yes, we are.
How has it been kind of seeing the ups and downs of downtown while trying to have a successful business there?
You know, it's interesting because I always say, like, we have watched, even just like, we've gone through many mayors and many city council, you know, and I'm like, we're still standing, you know. That's why my friends are always like, you're the mayor, because you've been there so long. And I'm like, I'll take mayor. When somebody says you're the grandma of West 9th, I'm like, I won't take that one. I won't be that. But it's just been a really interesting landscape. I mean, when we first opened in early 97, you know, that was the Mike White years, I think. And downtown had so much. There were two booming malls. I mean, Tower City was full all the time, and the Galleria, and there were a million places to go, a million places to see. The flats were full, you know, it was totally different. And you see that with all cities. They go through, you know, they ebb and flow, and they go through, you know, sometimes the flats are the favorite. We always say we're like a bunch of little cities in the city, you know. Sometimes the flats are favorite, and then the warehouse is the favorites, and then East Fourth, and then you know, it just depends on what district is the favorite that year. And you know, we struggle right now because there's not a lot of people coming downtown. It is very difficult because there aren't things drawing people into the city other than our beautiful plays, you know, or games. There isn't a lot of shopping downtown. And so we do struggle a little bit downtown just because it's it's not like it used to be. But I also know how amazing the Greater Cleveland Partnership is. I know how great the downtown Cleveland people are, and I know the Destination Cleveland works super hard to bring things here to our city. So I have faith that it's always going to get better because there's people that believe in it and organizations like those that just work so hard for it.
What do you think is missing? What do you think, like, if these three things came to downtown, the space would change?
I think as far as physical things missing, I think that it would be nice to have kind of like a pier, like I think that it would be nice to have something like like they have in the Chicago, the pier, or, where there's little rides, there's little shops, there's little, there's things there's a reason to come downtown.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I'm going downtown because there's a play, or that, like, hey, let's go downtown because they have the pier there and they have the, so instead of, just having to have tickets or something to go downtown. It's
more of an experience, culture.
Like, let's go down to the pier. Let's walk around and make it so that it's a pier that is something that's year round. So, there's indoor activities, there are outdoor activities, because you really need that, something for people to come to besides just a half empty mall, and I think another thing that Cleveland needs more national love. I mean,
oh my gosh,
it is so difficult for me to just even programs you're watching and they're like, oh, Cleveland. I'm like, this is such a beautiful city. Yeah. And everyone who comes into the restaurant says to me, like, oh my God, like, this place is so clean and everybody's so nice, and it gets such a bad name. And I'm like, I know. We need more people that are from Cleveland to give it that national love, because the haters are horrible.
They're horrible. When I told people I was moving to Cleveland the first time, they said, the mistake by the lake, why would you do that? And I was like, oh, where am I going?
That was in 1970. Yeah. I mean, that was a long time ago.
It's still stuck. It's stuck with people.
I was a little teeny weeny person then. Yeah. Like, that's crazy. That's like 50, 70 years ago, whatever, and people are still holding on to that.
I watch movies and they're constantly making jokes like, oh, I got to go to Cleveland for work, and they're like, ew, Cleveland. I'm like, y'all come here. Come here first before you, like, say bad things about us.
I know.
Come experience it.
It just feels like it's Cleveland against the world. And I never felt like that when I lived in, like, Pittsburgh or when I lived down in Texas. Like, it never felt like that. But you come to Cleveland and it's just like, I'm so tired of the just haters. Just come here.
Yeah.
I mean,
because everybody that comes here, they're blown away.
Absolutely.
And they're like, okay, I might come back.
Yeah. And wasn't it like last year rated like the second most friendly city in the whole country?
They're always
like a
we
number
get rated
two.
very well.
Really
we get
well.
rated really nice for places to come, places to relocate, food. Yes, I even read on the news the other day that we were a great place to come if you, like, just got broken up with and want to start a new relationship. Like, Cleveland singles are amazing. I'm like, so what's the problem?
And it is also very LGBTQ friendly. Yes. Compared to, like, now the Midwest is kind of like people are afraid. It's very friendly with that. Like, we really open our arms and just love everyone.
And so many great people are from here. You would think by now they would have changed the narrative.
Harder. Yeah.
We need more.
Yeah, we do. We need more. You and I are just going to go on a Cleveland Rocks tour.
Every city in America. We're coming to talk to you. Well, speaking of Cleveland having just like everything that you could ever imagine, tell me a little bit about this nomination, because I feel like we've gotten a couple of these James Beard nominations in this area, which hopefully are changing the narrative of people thinking about Cleveland and the food scene. Yeah. How does that happen? Is it like a secret shopper kind of vibe? Like someone comes and eats there and they're like, they deserve a nomination?
I wish that I could tell you that. Yeah. I wish I could tell you that. I was sleeping because it's like, I'm a restaurant person, so we're still sleeping sometimes at 9 in the morning. And my phone just starts blowing up, and I'm like, all these congratulations. And I'm like,
for what?
Like, for what? So I texted a press friend of mine and I was like, why is someone congratulating me? And he's like, oh, you are one of only 20 restaurants nationally to be up for the hospitality award for James Beard. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Interesting.
But it is just, it's such an honor, number one. And number two, except the fact that I don't know how it happened, it's not a surprise, because it's a surprise in the sense that it's a surprise. But if you met the people that I work with every day, they're so beautiful, and they so love Mallorca, and they so love the city. And we've always said, when people come through the door of Mallorca, remember that this might be the only place they come when they're in Cleveland. So you don't just represent Mallorca, you represent the city. You want them to be like, wow, what a great place Cleveland is, via Mallorca. So, and the people that work there have been there for so long, and they always say to me, everything that we have came from this house. So we love this house. And they work so hard, and they just love what they do to be in service to people like they are. And this is a very, very hard job.
All I know
service is hard.
Yeah, all I know is the bear on Fox.
Yes.
So if it's anything like that, oh my gosh, intense, insane.
It is hard. It is hard work, and you really have to love it to do it. And Jorge, who works with us and has been there for 26 years or so, he has this enthusiasm, and he delivers the specials 1,000 times a day. And every time he talks about them, you would think that he was like, it was the first time. He has such enthusiasm for the house and for the food and just everything. So if there is an award for that, they certainly deserve it, because they're amazing.
Yeah. What does hospitality mean to you?
Hospitality means to me, it's not just food, it's not just good food doing good things, it's not just service. It's about creating a place that people feel like they belong. Creating that feeling that when I am here, whether it's a good day or a bad day, I feel like I'm being hugged. I feel like this is where I came here because this is where I belong. And that's not easy to create. You really have to genuinely feel that way about your house to create that feeling when people come in. But hospitality is all about, I was raised to believe that empathy is the most important asset that we have, because it's the seed from which all good things grow. Honesty, integrity, kindness, friendship, all grow from empathy. And hospitality is literally the embodiment of all of those things. It is the physical embodiment of empathy. And so that's what hospitality means to me. It's really making people feel like they are where they belong when they're in your place.
Yeah. When you go and eat, where do you think restaurants fall short at that?
I think a lot of restaurants really have a harder time because they have a lot of staff that kind of come and go and come and go and come and go. And that's hard. It's hard to create that kind of environment when the staff is just kind of, it's a revolving door. I do have to say the independent restaurants, well, I'm a little biased, but I think the independent restaurants absolutely do a better job of that, because they do have a sense of ownership. And, it's a lot of times it's a family that owns it or whatever, so they really want things to succeed, and it feels like their home. So, the larger chains, I definitely would not say anything negative about them, because Lord knows I love me a Burger King hamburger on the way home. But that's what it is. It's just a place to go real quick and get real quick food. It's different than the independent restaurant that's really about creating an experience for you that's beyond just eating. It's
about getting your workers invested in what they're doing, so that they are more prideful.
Absolutely. And giving them, for me, it's also giving them a piece of the house, the giving them a small sense of ownership, giving them a small percentage of the ownership so they feel like they're really part of it.
Yeah. Tell me, I'm looking at my notes really quick. Do you think, when we talk about the Cleveland food scene and Mallorca and where you guys kind of fit into that, do you think you fit in a nice line? Do you think you kind of stick out a little bit more, or where do you think you kind of flow into that?
I think that we stick out in the sense that we're unique food-wise and that we've been around for so long. It's kind of like, it's an iconic location in the sense that it's been here for so long that it's very rare that I'll go somewhere and I'll say, oh, you know, I'm in the restaurant pieces. People say, well, what restaurant do you own? And I say Mallorca, and they're like, oh my God,
yeah.
I had my rehearsal dinner there. I got engaged there. You know, I had my birthday there. It's 2 out of 3 people that I talk to know Mallorca. And so in that sense, because it's long-term, we do stick out a little bit more just because of that having that long-term reputation.
What do you think sets you guys apart from those? I see a lot of restaurants and like great ideas coming to downtown Cleveland, but it seems like they can't make it stick. Why do you think that is?
Again, well, I'll go back to you can have an amazing idea and amazing food, but you got to go outside your house. You have to leave the house to get people to come into the house. You have to engage the press so that they know that you're there and that they know how much you love it and what is unique. You have to engage your political, you know, the people in politics, because they're the ones making decisions that are going to affect your bottom line. There's legislation, both city, state, federal, all that affect your bottom line, and you have to be aware of that. You have to go outside of your house to go to the casino, to meet the host. You have to go to the hotels to meet the hotel people. You have to let people know that you're there. You can't just put a couple ads in the paper and think that's going to get you, because there's a lot of competition, and a lot of restaurants fail because the fact that they're not outside of their house, they're always inside their house.
Yeah. They cost a lot of money, some people might be thinking, to be out of the house that much.
It does, but it costs a lot more money to not do it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I like to always end with the hot takes.
Okay.
I know I sent you a couple of questions. You were like, don't need them. I'm ready. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, favorite restaurant in Cleveland, Northeast Ohio?
So I'm going to go with, of course, any restaurant that's on the Cleveland Independence list are good favorites. But I also like the long-term restaurants. I like Johnny's a lot because they've been, again, a part of the city for a long time. Blue Point I like a lot because they've been part of the city for a long time. So
they have a really good happy hour there.
They do, and it's a beautiful location.
So pretty.
And it's so nice to, you know, we're like long-term buddies.
Yeah, for sure. What's a place that you always take visitors? So anytime someone comes to see you, you're like, we got to go here.
I love the Cleveland Museum of Art. It is just an outstanding, they do such outstanding programs. It is just a beautiful, I mean, we are so lucky to have that everyone that comes, I take to the Cleveland Museum of Art. And I also love the Emerald Necklace. We have amazing hiking here.
Yes.
Amazing hiking.
We don't talk about it enough.
We don't, and we have amazing hiking trails, and we don't have to be worried about getting eaten by a, you know, a mountain lion or attacked by a bear or bit by a snake. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. It so is. I'm starting to learn to love hiking. My boyfriend is so engulfed in it. I should have known when the second date he was like, let's go Rocky River Reservation.
You're
I was
like,
like, that's kind of cute. I didn't know that was going to be the rest of my like 4 years of knowing this man.
Next thing you know, you're buying hiking poles and you're...
Yeah. I was in Banff National Park wanting to like pass out.
Beautiful.
Those hikes are no joke.
This is a great place to do, particularly for people who just want to hike and be relaxed and they don't want to feel like they're trying to make it to the Olympics for hiking. But you know, they're beautiful trails, and it's so beautiful. I mean, to me, Cleveland is the most beautiful part of Ohio.
Yeah.
We have the hills and the dales, and it's amazing.
Got a little bit of everything for everybody.
Yeah, we do.
What do you think Cleveland is missing? What do we need more of?
I'm going to go back to more national love. We need more national love, and we need more people to come downtown, leave the suburbs. Suburbs are beautiful. One of the things I love about Cleveland is each suburb has its own personality, and it's just amazing. But Cleveland has so much to offer, and we need people to come back down to the city because, you know, I always say it's like a box. If the box is empty and you step on the center of it, it's everything around it, all the sides are going to crush. So if you don't have a strong urban center, if it fails, the whole rest of the box is going to crush and fail too. So come downtown.
Yeah, we're ready for you.
Yeah, we are.
How can people connect with you?
So I always joke that like I always joke, if you need to get a hold of me, just check any bathroom wall from here to for a good time call.
Yeah.
But you can reach me through our website at mallorcacleveland.com, or obviously call the restaurant or call my personal cell. It's actually right there on our website.
Oh,
I don't care.
that's some great access.
You can call
You're ballsy
me.
for that.
You can call. I've had people call me at 3 o'clock in the morning. Actually, it's so funny because I did have a woman call me from Utah at like midnight one night.
Oh gosh.
Because she wanted to do an interview about the draft. Like they had the draft right after we did, and she's like, "I heard you were part of the draft, and so can I do an interview with you?" And I said the same thing to her. Did you get my number off a bathroom wall? And she's like, "No, I got it off your website."
That's crazy. I'd be so scared that people would call me like with their complaints, or they're like happy, sad, angry.
I want that though.
Yeah.
I want that. If somebody has something that went bad, I want them to call me.
Yeah.
I hate those review sites where, they leave you and you ask them, was everything okay? And they don't say anything, and then they go and leave you a bad review. If we did a bad job, I want to know. Call me. You can call me at 3 o'clock in the morning and be like, my steak sucked, and I want to hear that.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure that the next time it doesn't. So.
That's awesome. Good for you. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Fun.
I'm glad you liked it. You'll have to come back. We'll talk about something else.
We will. We'll talk about Kindland next time, the program that we have started for kindness.
I love that.
Yes.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Landline. Make sure you come back next Monday for an all-new episode.